All right, everybody, welcome into our late week edition of Concrete Jungle, a New York baseball podcast here on FingerLakes1.com. I am Paul Russo. As always, Kyle Evans with me. Kyle, we had quite the two-game Subway series that we'll have to dissect. So not a ton maybe to overall talk about, right, between the two teams because they played each other. So that allows us to, I alluded to on Monday, we'll have a little bit of fun potentially here on Thursday. And we are, just not in the way I envisioned because we had content delivered right to our doorstep pretty much. So we'll be handling that. Been a pretty good start to the week for Rochester and Syracuse as well. So can't complain too much, I'd say, up here, at least on the I-90 corridor. How's your start to the week?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. The Subway series was probably more entertaining than I thought, just because we've seen a little bit of everything. I mean, not just we've seen some, we've seen one ejection. We've seen some, I guess, not players not following the rules. So yeah, we've seen more than just the Yankees and Mets going head to head.
Yeah, we'll obviously jump into all of that and more. First, handle some podcast business and thank a couple of our sponsors like Dr. Jeffrey Halstead, DMD. Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canandaigua's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. You can visit them online at CanandaiguaDentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. And Lincoln Hill Farms, head on out to Lincoln Hill Farms in Canandaigua for family fun with live music, good eats, cold brews, and a great time for Father's Day. That's this Sunday, people, June 18th, this Sunday, from 1 to 8 p.m. Save the date. Do that now. And bring your dad, uncle, grandfather, or any father figure in your life for one-of-a-kind entertainment experience at Lincoln Hill Farms. Go on out, enjoy some great food, live music, lawn games, and their Dress Like Your Dad contest. And have a good old time at the farm. For more information, you can go to LincolnHillFarms.com. So, let's get on into this, Kyle. The split of the Subway Series, first of 2023, just a two-game set. I don't know if it was necessarily a tale of two games. There ended up being a bunch of different storylines that kind of really pop out from each, I guess. Where do you want to fully start? You were to pull the curtain back a little bit. You were a bit off the rails, to be quite honest with you, coming on in here off air. You were going in about 5 different directions with 5 different topics for 5 different for the teams. So let's start with game 1. Yankees come away victorious there, 7-6, and it was a little bit of a rocky start for the Yankees with Severino. The thing that got highlighted to me was he balked twice, and it was the first time that he had balked since his pretty much rookie year, which caught me off guard.
In the same inning, too.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Mets unable to really kind of take care and bury the Yankees in game 1. It ends up being... It borderline felt like, honestly, though, collectively, maybe the worst of the two games in a way, almost, only because... And we'll get to, obviously, yesterday's game because there was a lot of maybe the fundamental stuff that got forgotten behind. But just between everything with, like, say, the box of Severino, you had Drew Smith get tossed for a foreign substance or perhaps not. I'm very confused, and I'm being intrigued by your take on that. To, frankly, I didn't think baseball was that great played Tuesday night, to be completely honest.
Yeah, what I found interesting is Drew Smith spoke after the game, and he said that the umpires said that he had stuff on both of his hands. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was surprising. And then immediately I thought, like, what umpire crew is this? Is it the same one that's been kind of throwing out these other pitchers?
I can confirm it is not.
And it is not, yeah. So
it was not the Cuzzy crew.
So that was a little bit surprising, and they did it immediately. Like, even before he stepped on the mound, it was just... quick. And I found out from Michael K yesterday that the reason why they checked him so quickly is because his velocity was up his previous start. So the umpire crew was notified about that, and that's why they checked him so quickly, and that's what they found. He says, obviously, that his hands are the same as they've always been, But, I mean, there was a velocity jump, and he has been struggling. So was he trying to use something to, turn his season around a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, I don't know what to believe. I don't really have an opinion on what to believe, but I did find it interesting.
Yeah, I found it interesting, too, and that was, so for people who may not know, when you come out of the bullpen, if you're a reliever, you do get checked before coming onto the field as well. I don't know if it's what the technical person's title is, but it's some sort of official with the league. And he cleared that check, but not the umpire check, which was pretty interesting as well, which, again, I think I kind of go back almost in a way to when, to circle back to me yelling the Cuzzy crew. I don't know, because he's not challenging it, right? He's just taking the 10 games and kind of moving on with it. I'm almost intrigued again to go back to this. Like, they got to figure out, I think, to me, some sort of uniformity to this rule, right? Because, frankly, if he got by the first check, why didn't he get by the second check? You know what I mean? And that to me comes down to that human element where I think, in a sport that, frankly, loves being black and white in certain regards, but loves the ambiguity in other regards. I think this one needs to be black and white, a black and white rule, in terms of not the punishment or not anything like that. We know what the punishments are. We know where that stands. But to me, in the detection of and determination of what is too much in that situation.
Yeah, I do agree that they have to come out and, explain more to these pitchers what is right and what is wrong. But I do find it interesting that 2 of the 3 players that have been suspended are Mets players.
Yeah.
Why are no, obviously Domingo Germán, the Yankees, was suspended, but other than that, there's been no other guys getting tossed for this.
I thought there was one.
According to the New York Post, it says 3 players this year. So, yeah, I just find that interesting that there's not a lot of suspensions being handed out, only to the New York teams.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Made for some great, like I said, great drama in the midst of what I personally thought was actually, like I said, the worst of the 2 games, and only because I just thought collectively it was just such a mind-boggling mess.
And I forgot, I just read, too, that 2 players at AAA Syracuse this year, obviously Dylan Bundy, but then Eric Orrs.
Eric Orrs, yep.
So what's up with the Mets organization? That's 4 players.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily something just Mets.
That's the way it's been, though.
I know something Met organization specific, but I mean, not to bring no racing into this, but if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
The umpire Bill Miller told a pool reporter last night that he had the stickiest hands of any pitcher his crew has ever checked this season.
Yeah, well.
So I don't know.
If that's a situation, but, I mean, you're always going to try and find the edge, right? And some people are likening the Drew Smith thing to not quite to the Pineda level of whatever, but again, to me, I just go back to the fact that how could he pass one check but not the next? And look, I get, Germán was in a similar boat this year. Obviously Scherzer for the Mets beginning of the year. And then the other one, I guess, really mainly that will stick out to me is just the Cortez one, or, along that line. So I think, and I think that, again, I just go back to I don't know if they'll do anything in the middle of the season. Baseball, very reactive, not proactive in this. I would be intrigued to see where we come out of this at the end of 2023 in terms of uniformity and stuff like that. Let's fast forward to last night, Wednesday, Game 2, Mets victory, 4-3 in extras, 10th inning. That game was just kind of a bumbling. It was a mess, but I just thought it was more competitive. I don't know if it was the rain delay. I thought the fans were much more in it last night than even Tuesday, even though the atmosphere to me was great both nights. But it ended up being, a little bit of a pitcher's lull there for a little bit between Cole and Verlander, and it came down to, I guess, really a battle of the bullpens in a way, and who was gonna, I guess, blow it that one last time, and it ended up being the Yankees. But I'm intrigued, Kyle, because I think me and you were kind of in the same boat. I know you actively tweeted it last night, but I know I was kind of left head scratching a little bit as to why they pulled Albert Abreu. A rare phrase that we have probably uttered on this podcast, but I thought he was in a groove, and frankly, when you're in extra innings like that, you're gonna have to. I get you have to try and find a balance here, but for the Yankees side of things in this, they have today off, much like the Mets. Both Mets and Yankees have today off, but the Yankees also have another day off this upcoming Monday, and they do have a relatively rested bullpen that is going to remain at least relatively getting semi-fresh the next week. I would have just rolled Abreu at least for one other batter, and who knows? And unfortunately, he does get dinged with the loss, but I don't know if I would have pulled him.
Yeah, he was at 20 pitches. He just got Mark Vantil's to strike out to lead off that inning. See, if it went right, we wouldn't be talking about this. That's what I always think about when something doesn't go right. You look at Nick Ramirez's numbers against lefties, like, it did make sense in the moment. It just didn't work out. And I do agree, though, that Abreu, he should have let him ride, especially when the bullpen was already short. No Wandy Peralta, no Michael King, and no Clay Holmes. So, yeah, I mean, I get both sides. But at the same time, I don't even look at that as the problem for me. It's the runners in scoring position going 1 for 15.
Yeah.
I mean, that everyone wants to pinpoint like why they lost as if it was the bullpen's fault, which, I mean, they did blow a 3-1 lead, okay? But if the offense just gets a couple hits, and with runners in scoring position, this isn't a problem. And the offense just has been struggling so much that, like, why can't they be the blame for this? The Yankees bullpen's been the best in the league.
Yeah.
They can have one slip up.
I'll let you keep the floor here because we know Anthony Rizzo is struggling, but I don't think it fully captures it until you say the numbers, really.
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo's now 2 for 37 since injuring his neck when he collided with Fernando Tatis Jr. Remember, he missed that whole Seattle series. They say over and over again that he's fine. It's just a slump, but I mean, this is the worst slump of his career. And his at-bats last night, he had a single, what was it, Wednesday night? But aside from that, I mean, he's not even really hitting the ball too hard right now either. He's hitting some fly balls, he's striking out. It's rare to see, and I don't know if the Yankees are covering something up, but I feel like he would just come out and say it.
Especially if it's head or neck related, right? Because it's
just so rare to see him.
Yeah.
He's such a great hitter, and he's a veteran guy, and when he's not clicking and Judge is out, this is why the team's hurting. And then, Stanton, Donaldson, and Torres, they got to give more too. That's what I've said all along. These veteran hitters are really the reason why they're losing games. Aaron Judge would make a difference, obviously, coming back in that lineup. But when he's on his little bit of a cold streak, other guys were stepping up.
Yeah.
And that's how they were winning games. So that's how I look at it now. Like, yeah, Judge is out, and it's a big loss, significant loss. But if these veteran hitters were just hitting a little more, they would be winning even more games. And they are 9 games above 500, so there's not a whole lot to complain about. But, man, they got to get going. They're towards the bottom in every offensive category.
Now, flipping back over to the Mets here, Steve Cohen tweeted last night, first tweet in about a month, right, give or take. More or less winning ugly, but we'll take it. And that final play, which there was a lot going on in that final play, from Jake Bauers, and I don't think I necessarily exactly blame him for giving up on it in a way, but to Eduardo Escobar more or less staying on second base the whole time is wild. And it resulted in what ended up being a hectic ending to the game because Escobar is at this point chugging around third, ball's coming in, and if Torres, I think, got a better throw on it,
There could have been
we might be having a different discussion entirely right now. And I don't want to do the whole entire ifs or buts type thing, but it was an ugly ugly ending for what was, in all honesty, to me anyway, the better of the two games.
Yeah, I forgot what Mets writer tweeted this out last night, but he said it's just stunning to see this team, who was such a heads up team, on the bases and all that last year, just struggle the way they are and make these mental errors, especially being managed by a guy like Buck Showalter, who has been around forever and is loved and does a great job managing. So it's just so odd to see. I mean, Eduardo Escobar was involved in 2 plays last night they're just head-scratching plays that make you think, how is this happening to a veteran guy like Eduardo Escobar? And then, like, for this, when IKF stole home, it's like, yeah, Eduardo should have been yelling too, but why was no other guys yelling? It was so weird. There's no communication right now.
And it was strange, too, because you had the pitcher coming out with the windup even. That portion of it, there's a lot of head-scratching. And it does make you wonder maybe where the heads are kind of at overall at the moment. Now, not to get too far ahead, they probably have one of the most ideal matchups for the weekend if you're trying to right the ship. In theory, right? And like I said, not to get too far ahead, but I think you look at the way Brandon Nimmo was kind of celebrating last night, and I can maybe understand to a degree why people might be upset. I don't run away from that, but you have to understand, especially for him, it was a rough collective 2 games for him. Just did not play well. Got more like did he get backpicked? No, it was a double play he got dinged up on. But
he overran second.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Misplayed a ball, and that's a good look. Nimmo's a good, well, more than good, great player, right? And the way the team and everything's gone for the Mets, like, I don't blame him for celebrating that way last night, man. Like, maybe that is that catalyst they need to push forward here right now. You know what I mean? And again, going into a weekend where they should, frankly, sweep a team. I don't have a way around other really saying it like that, where they should sweep the Cardinals. But
yeah,
it's baseball. Who knows? But I don't have a problem with the way he was kind of hyped last night. I when things aren't going your way and you finally have something go your way, you get excited.
Yeah, I don't really care about the reaction. I mean, if fans and the team didn't want to see that kind of reaction, then don't give up the walk-off. I mean, it's that simple.
It's not so much like Yankee fans. I saw, like, Mets fans kind of being the ones where it's like, we haven't done anything in a while. Like, why are we doing that? I'm like, do you not get it? Like, you know what I mean?
And one other thing, I don't know if you've even realized this, but in the last 6 games, the Mets have made 9 errors.
That's
9.
Go back to the fundamentals, right?
Yeah, it's just simple things that are not being done by these. I mean, they do have a lot of kids in the lineup, but mostly these veteran guys, like we just mentioned, Nimmo and Escobar. I mean, they're making errors on the bases, on the field. Just not heads up baseball right now. Yeah. It's concerning.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't. That portion of it I have a tough time kind of maybe dissecting, because I think that plays into the mental aspect of it, but at the same token, and it's one of those things where you have to pepper it almost at this point, where it's like, just do the basic stuff,
And just, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but was it Wednesday night? Tuesday night. 8th inning.
Yeah.
1 out, bases loaded. Lindor and Marte came up to face Clay Holmes.
Yeah. Big spot, by the way.
Both got it to a 3-2 count and somehow didn't score.
Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of sums up the offense sometimes with the Mets. I mean, 3-2, and you just can't find. I mean,
it's inexcusable. At the end of the day, that's one of those things that, not to, again, draw back to, like, what I do, but, like, when that happens and I'm, like, coaching a team, I literally get infuriated. I can maybe understand one, right? I can understand one, but to have it happen back to back.
And those are 2 guys that you expect to kind of deliver there.
You're right.
And then when Lindor struck out, it was right down the middle. I was like, oh my God, Clay Holmes got away with that. And I just thought the next batter, Marte, would do something, and nope. It's like, wow. That to me, that was the biggest moment in this whole Subway Series. The atmosphere was so great. The Yankees bench was fired up. That was just, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
Volpe said after the game he still has chills from that moment.
Yeah. And I think that was a big thing too for both teams, right? Is I think the way I saw it, and forgive me, I forgot who wrote the article, but the headline is, for third place Yankees and fourth place Mets, the Subway Series still delivered. And frankly, it did. I mean, like I said, the atmosphere at Queens was incredible both nights.
So many Yankee fans, though.
Well, yeah, but I thought in all honesty, I thought that the Mets fans were. I don't know if it was leaning one way or another. I thought it was pretty even the whole way. I mean, look at Tuesday night. Nimmo hits the leadoff home run for the Mets portion of the festivities, and I mean the 7-line army was just in full effect out in right field, and it certainly gave off. I don't like quoting like playoff vibes, but it came pretty close to it being that, in my opinion. Do you want to spend? Let's do the series portion first here before we get to the fun and funny stuff here. Couple injury updates for both teams. Harrison Bader's officially, I don't know how to really fully word this, has started and probably technically completed his rehab assignment. He was with Double-A Somerset on Wednesday night. He was expected to join the Yankees in Boston for Friday. So things came along pretty quickly, I'd say, for Harrison Bader.
One other thing quickly, now that we're talking about the outfield, did you think those two balls, the one by IKF and one by Jake Bauers, should have been caught last night? The IKF one was tough because it was over his head, but I thought the Bauers, if he got a better read on that.
Yeah, I thought Bauers probably should have.
And obviously, Aaron Judge would probably make that play. And
I mean, in theory.
And I think Bader probably makes the IKF play, honestly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But, I mean, still, again, that's not the reason they lost. Right, just hit the damn ball.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Bader. Yeah, so things progressed very quickly, it seemed like, in the past week for Bader, and he should be rejoining the team. Speaking of Somerset, that's where you've been able to find Ian Hamilton and Carlos Rodon the past couple of days as well, throwing live batting practice sessions to the Double-A team. Ian Hamilton should be beginning his rehab assignment today, or rather tomorrow, technically, with Somerset. He has one more bullpen session with them today. Rodon will throw as well today. In theory, they'll probably rest him again for a few days and then make a formal decision on whether or not the rehab assignment for him will begin. So everything popping up in Somerset the past few days with the Yankee injury and rehab updates.
Yeah, somebody asked Brian Hoke of MLB.com when he thinks Rodon could return, and he thinks he's going to need about 3 rehab starts, which I kind of said Monday. So he's targeting like July 6th. Obviously, that's just him guessing, but that would put him 4 days before the All-Star break, so I guess we could see him before then.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Mets injury updates. And I also have a couple of transactions as well to take note of. Been mentioning Jose Quintana. He has officially began his rehab assignment with St. Lucie. He'll be in the minors throughout the system the rest of June. And him and the team both expect a return to the big league roster at the start of July. Joining him in St. Lucie at the moment I believe, was Alicia Hernandez as well. But he doesn't have any outright updates at this point. They had to shut him down for a couple weeks, so it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens there. Pete Alonso, despite the timeline, this is where things get interesting. He's already resumed some baseball activities. He was fielding some grounders out at Citi Field yesterday before the game. So he feels, and so does Buck Showalter, feel like he could be ready and should be ready to go before the 3-4 week timeline. So we're looking at potentially an accelerated timeline for Pete Alonso's return as well. And notably, right-hand pitchers Tommy Hunter and Steven Nogasek, who have been pretty much long-time Met staples throughout the system at this point, have elected free agency after refusing their assignments to AAA Syracuse upon being outrighted and clearing waivers. So pretty interesting stuff there. Obviously, especially on the Tommy Hunter one, I'm more surprised than Nogasek. He should be probably picked up somewhere, I would imagine, but who knows? And it's a Met bullpen that they needed better arms, and I don't know if those two were going to be the answer anyway.
Yeah, You can't blame them for, not wanting to go to Syracuse. Uh, so yeah, I do think they'll, sign somewhere pretty quickly too. I'm wondering, like, within the next couple days if we hear they end up somewhere else. My hope is that it's not with the Yankees, but in anyways, it wouldn't be because they wouldn't probably accept a minor league deal. But yeah, I kind of thought that was expected for them to both decline going to Syracuse.
Yeah. Nogus that caught me off guard though. I kind of figured he might accept it, but because he is, I guess, younger than Hunter, but
I think he's just pissed.
yeah, and I
He
don't.
knows the Mets
I
bullpen
don't.
has been
Well, I
bad.
don't blame him, right? I mean, he was kind of falling into, I'd say, the category that, and I feel bad. This is a name that we aren't going to probably hear from for a while just because of injury at this point. But whether it was Thomas Sapucki or Rob Zatrasny, who both have now gone on to other teams. Trasny, I think, has actually been one of the Pirates bullpen guys doing really well lately. So, yeah, it's just interesting. And look, their bullpen arms, they'll find their feet somewhere. They're not going to go, I'd say, untouched in that sense. So let's go here first. The Mets, interesting social media thing pops up with them during the series. Pete Alonso had a charity event, and Frank the Tank was there, and him and Steve Cohen had quite the interaction. What was your take on it? Because to me, I don't think I blame Steve Cohen for being not standoffish, but, maybe not wanting to be around Frank, to be quite honest. I understand it.
Well, yeah, when you're hearing all the things he says about the team and him in general, I wouldn't want to take a photo either with him. But at the same time, most of the stuff Frank says is overboard, obviously. Dramatic, too much. But the one thing that Frank does say all the time is with this payroll, in these players that they have on this roster, they should not be performing the way they have. Which I totally agree. They should not be, 32 and 36 or whatever they are? So you can't blame him for being upset. Imagine being a Mets fan right now. It would not be fun. You have the highest payroll in baseball, and you're performing like this. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm actually surprised, though, he said no right to his face.
Yeah.
I thought he maybe just would have walked away and didn't answer at all.
Steve's a businessman.
So, yeah, that was a little funny, though.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the other fun part here. So I guess this is something Andy Martino has done for a few years now. That's the first that I'm seeing of it. He has a thing called the New York Yankees or New York Jets. I prefer Yankees because Pokemon. And pretty much he combines the teams into one super New York team for who's been playing the best at any given point or anything like that. So for the viewers, people watching, up on screen now is the starting lineup out on the field. Kyle, I feel bad because your monitor's a bit further away. But we'll start in the outfield from left to right. It's all Mets. Mark Hanna, Brandon Nimmo, and Starling Marte. Your infield from third to first is Brett Beatty, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, and Anthony Rizzo. Designated hitter is Giancarlo Stanton. Your catcher is Jose Trevino, and your ace of the staff is Garrett Cole. Okay, speaking of the staff, it's Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Kodai Senga, Justin Verlander, and Domingo Germán. Your relievers, without a true closer listed, by the way, is Clay Holmes, David Robertson, Michael King, Tommy Kahnle, Ron Marinaccio, Jimmy Cordero, Wandy Peralta, and Brooks Raley. Your four people on the bench: catcher Francisco Alvarez, second baseman Gleyber Torres, shortstop Anthony Volpe, and outfielder Tommy Pham. I have a lot of problems. Well, not a lot, but a couple things that I did have a problem with is, one, where was Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge?
Yeah, so is this just not picking injured players?
So that was the consensus that myself, and shout out to Josh Durso, we came up with, is he must not have taken the injuries to a full-fledged deal here, which I guess I understand, but to me, if you're putting the best team together from whatever, Pete Alonso hasn't missed extended time. He's only been out for a week and a half now at this point. So why isn't he up there anyway? Judge, maybe I could understand. I'll allow it. It's just funny to me, and I'm going to put up the starting 9 up there again here quickly. If we're talking injury, right, how come Francisco Alvarez isn't just the outright starting catcher then over Jose Trevino, who personally I would have Alvarez starting catching over Trevino anyway, to be quite honest. Just the way it's just the way it's been this year, right?
I was actually just going to say the same thing. That's probably one of the complaints I have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he's going with a better defensive catcher right now. But
I mean,
if
maybe.
you want offense, I mean, Alvarez is clearly the one that you put there.
My other true gripe, I guess, might be Mark Canha as well. I mean, he's played really well the past couple weeks in the absence of Pete Alonso. But if we're going to do the semantics of it, I don't know. I borderline feel like he hasn't done, in my mind, much more than, say, Kiner-Falefa almost in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be tempted to put Jake Bauers out there. The infield I don't have a necessary problem with. Again, maybe the Pete Alonso thing, and part of me almost would probably start Glaber maybe over McNeil, but I don't think there's a big gripe one way or another there.
Yeah, so based on the whole team right now, is there more Yankees or Mets? I can't really see the screen.
So the starting 9/10, I guess, depending upon the way you look at it, there's more Mets, 5 or 6 rather to 4, the way you want to look at it. I'll go over to the pitching element, the side of it. 3 Mets starters to 2 Yankees starters, and the bullpen is 4 Yankee relievers compared to 5 Yankee relievers. Wait, I want to make sure I'm counting right here. Math is hard. 6 Yankee relievers compared to 2 for the Mets.
That makes
Right.
a lot of sense.
Right, and I think they got probably the right 2 bullpen arms for the Mets, by the way, in there.
And they didn't put Ottavino
yeah.
in there, right? Adam Ottavino's not in there?
No, he's not in there. It's Robertson and Brooks Raley for the Mets. And then on the bench, it's 2 and 2. The Tommy Pham one's interesting, but if you look at, and this is much more than a week, you look at the last month, Pham's really come on pretty good. So I don't hate a spot. In all honesty, he might earn that starting left fielder job in my personal thing over Mark Canha, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he's been one of their best hitters, actually. I mean, took care of Cole Deep and just has been hitting really well.
So it's pretty interesting. What were your thoughts when you kind of first saw it this morning, when it first got presented to us?
Well, like you guys kind of said, I was shocked right off the bat that we're not putting Judge and Alonso on there, but I was like, I guess they're not going to choose injured players. But for the most part, I agree. Other than the Trevino stuff, I actually don't agree with Trevino being on there right now. But I guess they're choosing the Platinum Gold Glove winner, and I guess you can't go wrong with that. But if you want offense, the wrong move. And Mark Canha, yeah, I agree with you there. You could easily put IKF there, maybe even Jake Bauers. And other than that, I like how the bullpen's structured. I really do. I was hoping Ottavino wasn't on there. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
He's like, eh.
We got a couple good lefties in there. I like it. It's my type of bullpen.
And the starting pitching staff is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that for a MLB team facing that staff.
When they're at their peaks, not bad. Not bad to say the least at all, I'd say.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and do some preview and stuff right now. Let's do the Mets first here. They host the Cardinals this weekend at Citi Field. They remain home before heading out on the road for next week. Frankly, this is why I go back to it. This is, I think, a series where, okay, maybe you don't sweep, but you got to be in control. You know what I mean? And for them, it's going to be coming down to really pitching, to be quite honest with you. Friday night, 7:10 on SNY, Miles Michaelis against Tyler Maygill. Dare I say it's a do-or-die start for him, the way he's been pitching lately?
Yeah, he's going to get kicked out if he doesn't perform well.
Oh, gosh, I had a tab close on me. All right, we're good. Saturday, 4:10 on your local Picks affiliate. So Adam Wainwright against Kodai Senga. And then Sunday, 1:40, same deal on your local Picks affiliate. Matthew Liberatore against Carlos Carrasco. I'm going to go 2 of 3, and frankly, I think they lose the Megal start. Megal is struggling bad. I kind of go back to a month ago when I was just like, month and a half, I guess, technically now, when they sent Peterson down instead of him. I'm like, I don't know if that's fully the right move, but okay, I understood it. Now, we might be seeing DP or Joey Lucchese back up, depending upon how Friday goes, in my opinion. But I'm going 2 of 3 against the Cards. Cards have by the way, the worst record in the NL and the 3rd worst record in the MLB. Crazy to think about, given that team. But that's where they are at the moment. You want to talk about a team with some really bad clubhouse mojo going, it's the Cardinals. I think it's a great matchup for the Mets for the weekend. I'm going to go 2 of 3.
Two teams that are both 2-8 in their last 10, so we got
equally as crazy.
We got kind of a I shouldn't say it on here. Okay, I won't. But I'll take the Cardinals winning 2 of 3.
Wow, you're going that far, eh?
The Mets just don't have it for me.
I don't know if I can go that far. Just the stuff in St. Louis, it's bad. You have Nolan Arenado effectively comparing the team to where he was with Colorado before he came over.
But then you got the Mets who are just not playing clean baseball, so you never know what could happen.
I know, but it's not like the Cards are playing clean either. They just aren't. I don't know.
And
that's why you play the game.
Every time we think they're going to win a series against teams they should beat, they just don't win. I don't understand it, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Meanwhile, for the Yankees, it remains rivalry week pretty much. They head to Boston for 3 games against the Red Sox. Pretty similar, at least for the Yankees pitching matchup that they went with last weekend for the series in the Bronx. For the Yankees, though, on Friday night, it will be Domingo Germán against Tanner Houck. That's a 7:10 first pitch on Yes. Saturday, 7:15 on Fox, Clark Schmidt against Brian Bayo. Sunday, 7:10 on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, Luis Severino against James, Yankee legend, Big Maple Paxton. So pretty much, in all honesty, outside the Severino-Paxton matchup, it's rematches of what we saw last weekend, at least at some point. The Red Sox have had an interesting week. Don't know if were paying full attention to what was going on with them exactly.
They're not a good baseball team.
No. So same deal. I don't think the Yankees. I feel bad because I feel like it will be like Clark Schmidt who will just get caught with no run support again. I think the Yankees get 2 of 3. The Saturday game is kind of like where I'm looking at probably them getting a loss, to be completely honest with you, and nothing that Clark Schmidt, in my opinion, will probably do. I know me and you have disagreed on that overall this year, but I think the past couple starts you've come around to my side of things slightly. But Schmidt's kind of figured it out a little bit, and the run support needs to be there for him.
Yeah, the only question is, will the Yankees hit? That's really what it is, and they just can't lose 2 out of 3 again. And I see the Red Sox are 4-6 in their last 10, and the Yankees are 5-5. So they've been kind of playing similar baseball, but the Yankees are just, to me, the better team. Yeah. And the Red Sox are now 14 out. Remember when they were in 3rd place?
Yeah. Hey, don't blame me. I was telling everybody. I'm looking at you, people of America and places beyond. I told you the Red Sox would come back down to earth. Look who might be right.
Let's talk about this quick. Do you think Baltimore does catch Tampa Bay? They're 5 out. They're playing right now against Toronto. They could make it 4 by the end of today.
I think as long as Aaron Hicks continues hitting. By the way, I know where we kind of stand. I feel good for Aaron Hicks that he's performing. I think, look, players need that reset every now and then, right? Yeah. So as long as he doesn't do it against the Yankees, good for him.
Why do so many people get bothered when players go and perform well? It's like, whatever, who cares?
And it's in every sport with every team. You know what I mean? Like people need a reset sometimes.
Like Gary Sanchez, who cares? Yeah, he's playing well. Big deal.
I'm happy to see those guys succeed.
Mike Ford, crushing it in Seattle right now.
Seattle Mariner 2 times over legend.
And, I just don't get everyone's obsession with getting mad. Or if we want to throw in hockey quick, local Buffalo Sabres, Jack Eichel winning the Cup. Big deal.
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's across different sports with different teams. Why wouldn't you want to... See, this is the part I don't like about today's society. Let me get up on a soapbox. We should all want to see each other succeed. Why do we want to see each other fail? You know what I mean?
Yep.
As long as it's not against the Yankees with Aaron Hicks. All right, before we get out of here, Rochester and Syracuse, both victorious to start the week. Now, it's a little bit two different things kind of going on. Rochester was rained out last night, Wednesday. We got some much-needed rain, at least here in upstate New York. But before that, Tuesday night, absolute slugfest, 18-10. Crazy. They've been a part of a couple of those games now this year where it's like, okay. But they're playing Scranton. So the Yankees of tomorrow today up in Rochester facing the Nationals of tomorrow today. For Syracuse, they're in Buffalo. They've taken 2 straight against the Bisons, so some good stuff coming for them. And I did want to make note of this, Kyle. Luke Voigt, after we wrapped up the show on Monday, signed a minor league deal with the Mets. He's with Syracuse now. And then I found this really interesting. Gets done on his rehab assignment, and the Nationals assigned Victor Robles to Rochester. So that's pretty interesting as well. But a couple more veteran MLB guys on these rosters, that can be a pretty big thing. As I mentioned, we're now only 10 days away from the start of the second half of the season, a whole new season, the way it's structured this year for AAA baseball. That's going to be pretty big in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Luke Voigt's been playing well, right? I thought he had a hit or two.
I think he's like a combined 3 for 6 or something like that, yeah.
And Victor Robles, he had a couple doubles the other night. And I was trying to look. Somebody, I'm pretty sure, hit a grand slam, right, that night?
Yes.
And that big 18-10 win, that was just a slug.
Who was it?
Jake Alou. Or
Was
is
it?
that how you say his name?
Yeah, Jake Alou?
Yeah, grand slam.
How about that?
In the 8th inning. It was part of a 5-run 8th inning. So that's kind of how they pulled away in that 8th inning against Scranton's bullpen. And right now, Scranton's up 3-0 in the top of the 3rd in Game 1 of the doubleheader.
How about that? I know I'll be there tomorrow night. Kyle, you were supposed to come with us, but that's okay. I forgive you. It'll be all right.
All right, let me say this out loud. I think the last time I missed a Yankees game was actually because of work. Other than that, I haven't missed a game. And that was, if you remember, we called that baseball game.
That's right.
Other than that,
down in Livonia.
that was tough. That was really tough for me to miss.
Well,
I'm telling you, I watch every game, every inning. No, I'm dead serious.
I know. I was kind of teasing you there a little bit. I didn't expect you to get full-fledged serious on me.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think people really think that I do watch every game, but I really do.
I mean, you are beyond invested.
And think about this. How can I post content if I'm out somewhere else?
It's a fair point.
And then my account dies. And then I lose followers. And then I get people mad. And then the whole world's, like, just coming at me. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something about I can't miss Sabres games. I can't miss Yankees games. I don't know.
You don't miss many games, period.
I'm just addicted to sports like some people are addicted to other things. I'm not going to say it out loud. So yeah, that's my addiction. I'll say it out loud here.
God.
Just being real.
I didn't anticipate the Yankees being compared to crack, but okay.
Well, I mean,
I'm not afraid to say it.
The addiction's real here. I just love watching sports. Can't take a night off.
Gosh.
But although I got today off, I'm actually kind of happy.
do.
I'm getting a day off. It's too bad you didn't choose tonight for the Red Wings game because I would have went.
Well, now I have to go coach baseball tonight because we got rained out last night, so that'll happen.
Yep, no hockey, no basketball, just a few baseball games. Whatever. Take a night off.
Nothing wrong with that. Got the U.S. Open, little golf action.
Yep.
You don't watch that at all, do you?
I can't. I just can't get into watching golf.
Do you watch like the end of the round, like the end of like the the majors at all, like Sunday at all, or?
I had some of it on, yes, but I'm so behind. I don't know all the rules. I don't know all the terminology stuff that they use, and I'm just stuck on the 4 major sports, and I can't get off them. Like, I can't stand college. You know that. Like, college just doesn't get me. And
you would love college sports if you like actually got into it.
Like, I don't know how people get into college like I do with like hockey or baseball. Like, I don't know how to get that into it where I know so much about it.
I'm not kidding. Like, college fits you like way much like better than pro, in my opinion, because just like the traditions, the energy, it's the atmosphere is nuts at some of these places. It is.
Like college baseball, have you watched any of those games?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched a single game.
Oh, come on.
I'm dead serious. I just can't get into it.
College baseball is great.
I know I see all the like crazy stuff that's been going on, right? Was there a walk-off or something recently?
Oh, we had the walk-off in Stanford where the ball got lost in the lights. Poor Texas, horns down, baby. Yeah, that'll happen.
Maybe someday, as I get older, um, I'll get into it more. But just like NASCAR, just can't get into it. I don't know what it is.
That's unfortunate for you because NASCAR's also off this weekend, so yeesh.
Really? Do they just? Is this the only week off, or?
Yeah, actually for the Cup guys. Yeah.
Wow. So what are you gonna do?
Watch baseball. Maybe go to another game or two. I don't know. It's gonna be a bit. It ends up being an inadvertently busy weekend for me. It's all because I have agreed to go do some fun stuff, and I'm not complaining. But let me put it this way: Saturday, I think I'll be inside my house for probably collectively maybe an hour.
See, that couldn't be me. I'm just like a homebody. Like, I'll go outside, but I feel like I'm home so much. Unless, like, it's a summer day and there's nothing going on for sports, and I'll go out.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so that will do it for Concrete Jungle then for this week. Good luck to all the teams, obviously. Kyle, we know what you're doing. I think we know what I'm doing, so...
don't get swept.
Nope. So I guess on that note, we'll talk with everybody on Monday. Forgot to mention, that's right, the housekeeping portion of this. Mondays we're moving to 1 p.m.
Unless a game pops up, which is rare.
Right.
On a Monday at 1 o'clock. So.
But Mondays 1 p.m. now for the live stuff. Other than that, we'll still be, after the fact, you can catch up anytime on YouTube, Spotify for podcasters, all that major stuff. So we'll talk with everybody on Monday afternoon. Enjoy the weekend.